Welcome back, and you're watching ASEAN Business Report. And Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawat's decision not to enter the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting is effectively losing a chance to put Thailand in its rightful place at the international forum. Yingluck's reasoning is that the country needs her to head operations to solve the current flood disaster in Bangkok and the suburbs. She informed APEC leaders days ago that she would not join the meeting in Honolulu due to the disaster at home. Leaders of the country in Asia and the Pacific are aware of and understand the situation in Thailand, where many provinces have been inundated for months. However, leaving home for a few days would not result in any change to the situation. With or without the Prime Minister at home, the water is not going to go away. At APEC, if she were to go, Yingluck would have the chance to meet world leaders from 20 other economies across Asia and the Pacific. They would discuss various economic matters, notably the crisis in the United States. Indeed, Yingluck told reporters a few weeks ago when water was approaching Bangkok that she wanted to use the APEC forum to explain her plan to rehabilitate the country and restore the damaged economy. The United States would likely propose its interesting and debatable ideas for a green growth economy during the APEC summit. Yingluck said she would dispatch her Deputy and Commerce Minister, Kitirat Naranong, to represent Thailand in the APEC summit. Kitirat is no stranger to international meetings, but this is not his forum. It is for the leader to show ideas and visions in economic cooperation. Beside her bilateral visit to some neighboring countries when she first took off, Yingluck has not yet attended any international forum. The flooding at home, which started even before she assumed office in July, was forced the Prime Minister of Thailand to cancel many foreign trips, including her introductory missions to Malaysia, Singapore, and China last month. Yingluck will have another chance to meet some world leaders, including U.S. President Barack Obama, at the ASEAN Summit in Bali next week, which also includes meeting of the U.S.-ASEAN Summit and East Asia Summit.
On the line with us, we have Kun Tony Lohit Navi, who's the director of Midas Capital. Swadee ka, Kun Tony.
Swadee ka.
Swadee ka. In the eyes of the foreign investors, what is the impact of the massive floods to the Thai economy?
I think that they will have a negative impression in the sense that a lot of the damage that was caused to the factories and the manufacturing base was probably preventable in their eyes, in the sense that at least the government should have given clear warning, clear message, and also ahead of time, so that they could have prepared at least some measures that would have prevented a lot of the damage. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, it came too little too late, and they just had to watch basically as the floods came in and destroyed a lot of the the materials.
Mm-hmm. And Kun Tony, is this a pretty monumental damage to Thailand's image as a country?
I think it is significant, but what's happened has happened. So now the best thing that Thailand and the authorities needs to do is to show that they can have systems in place in the future to prevent what has happened, because we're in a cycle where there's going to be extreme weather changes in the next few years. Mm-hmm. So this could happen again. So if it does happen again, there are systems in place that will deal with it. What I'm talking about is investment in infrastructure to pass the water through without damage.
Investment in infrastructure, right? Other than investment in infrastructure, are there any other measures that the government should take to restore international confidence?
I think they need to, apart from what they do physically, they need to also show that they are capable of handling the communication, PR, and how they deal with the media, and basically, have better communication about what's happening and how to, forewarn ahead of time. Mm-hmm. It's basically a lot of this was a communication failure, in my opinion.
Mm. Talking about the situation in Europe, if with the situation in Greece and Italy, what will be the impacts on the global economy as well as Asia?
It's going to be a bad impact. That's what I see. It's already happening, but it's going to get worse because Europe, unfortunately, is we can't ignore Europe. It's a huge economy. It's, at least a quarter of the world economy, the other quarter being the US. So this is going to have a contagion effect. Basically, Greece is small. Everyone keeps saying Greece is a small country, so it's not a big deal. But unfortunately, it is tied to Europe because of the euro. So Greece is the first thread that will unwind the rest of the European economies. So what you're going to see is capital will start to lose confidence, and then it will flee to the US. That's what we're seeing, and we're going to keep seeing in the future, in the near future.
I see. Kuntoni, other than Greece and Italy, which are visibly in trouble right now, do you see any other countries which will be affected by this debt contagion?
Yeah, the rest of the euro basically will be the rest of the periphery, which is Spain, Portugal. You see, Italy is a huge economy. It's 2 trillion. It has a debt of 2 trillion that the central bank, the ECB, cannot. They cannot support this. It's too big. That's the problem, and they know that, and they can't really admit it. That they cannot buy up Italy. It's too big. They can do it with Greece and the other smaller periphery, but Italy is basically the last stand, and it's showing that it cannot stand. So now we're going to have some trouble, and by changing prime ministers, and this is supposed to instill confidence. It actually shouldn't. It should be the opposite, because this is the time where they need to stand up, but now they're just switching leaders halfway through. It's not the right thing to do, and we're going to see more trouble, unfortunately. How this affects Thailand? Thailand has a lot of exports to Europe. If they can't afford to buy any goods anymore, this is going to affect Thailand negatively.
I see.
Unfortunately.
Probably tourism as well, right?
Yeah, sure. So Thailand needs to start focusing on other export targets within Asia or other countries.
I see. Well, thank you for joining us today, Kuntoni.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem. Thank you.